Good morning. So today I'm going to make a quick video about how to convert fractions to decimals. So when you're converting fractions to decimals, what we use is we try to convert the fractions into a decimal that has a denominator of 10 or 100, because that's what decimals use, is the tens, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and 10,000ths. So we try to get one of those as a denominator. So if I have the fraction 2/5 and I need to convert that into a decimal, what I'm going to do is I am going to try to change this 5 into the closest one of those numbers, 10 or 100. Well, 10 is closer to 5. So I'm going to try to think to myself, how can I change 5 into 10 by using multiplication? Well, if I count by 5s, I can count by 5s 2 times to get to 10. 5, 10. So 5 times 2 is 10. Now remember, with fractions, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top as well. So 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4. So 4/10 is now my fraction with 10 as a denominator. So now I can easily change that into a decimal as long as I know my decimal place value. So when you have a decimal, remember, the first space is your tenths. The second space is your hundredths. Remember, we add those THS with decimals because they're really just fractions. So if we say this fraction out loud, 4/10, that means we just put the numerator in the tenths place. So 4/10 is the same as 0.4. You could also write it as 0.4, 4/10. You could even write it as, you can put a 0 before and after it. 40 hundredths, remember from previous lessons, is equivalent to 4/10. So 40 hundredths is the same as 4/10 when you color it in on a grid. But just to make things simple, I would stick to one of these ways when you're dealing with tenths. Let's do another one. Let's do 5/20. So now we have a denominator that is above 10. So we can't use 10 as our denominator that we're going to try to get. So let's try to get 100. So I think to myself, how many 20s are in 100? Well, if I count by 20, how many times do I count to get to 100? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 5 times. So I am going to multiply that by 5, and I'm going to get 100. So I do the same to the top that I did to the bottom. 5 times 5 is 25. So I'm left with 25 hundredths, right? So thinking back to our place value, this is our tenths place. This is our hundredths place, right? So I've got 25 hundredths. So my answer should end here. So my 5 goes here and my 2 goes here. So 25 hundredths. So 25 hundredths is the same as a decimal written like this, or you could just use your decimal and do that. Okay? And that is how you convert fractions into decimals.